Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you an update on the San Bernardino shooting, news about the Washington votes on the budget and gun control, an E. coli update warning, today's gas prices, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest in the Indian Wells Valley. Our lead story today is the latest on the San Bernardino shooting. Investigators are working their way through the family history and background of the married couple that turned into mass shooters when they opened fire at a work conference event Wednesday. Suspects Saeed Farouk and his wife Tashfeen Malik were killed by police in a shootout after their deadly attack, which they had apparently planned, officials said. In addition to having plenty of ammunition for another attack, sources told ABC News that they also made sure to cover their tracks. San Bernardino shooters tried to destroy phones, hard drives. Police detailed the extent of the arsenal of the dozen pipe bomb-style devices and more than 4,500 rounds of ammunition that were found at the couple's Redlands, California home, as well as the 1,600 rounds they had at the rental car they were driving during their face-off with police. Investigators were concerned when they went to search the couple's home that there might have been explosives rigged to go off because there was a pipe bomb at the scene of the shooting that had a remote detonator attached. Burguin noted that the police did secure some other evidence like computer evidence and cell phones, but that does not mean that investigators will have instant access to the suspect's digital trail. Sources have told ABC News that mobile phones, hard drives, and virtually anything with digital memory associated with Farouk and Malik have been smashed when they were found by investigators. FBI computer forensics analysts in Orange County and at the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia, will try to reconstruct and extract any digital information they can, which sources said will be painstaking work. One law enforcement source told the ABC News that while investigators have some capabilities to mine information from damaged digital media, they are not miracle workers. The attacks are clearly an act of terrorism. Many people are attacking the White House for the lack of energy addressing terrorism. The White House spent most of the day trying to lower the rhetoric concerning the attack, still refusing to use the words extremist Islamist terrorist. Officials suspect that the couple was surprised by police when they caught up with them at the home where they stored all the guns and bombs. That's when the couple was then chased down and killed by police. Reports cite that the wife was shooting at police out the back window of the SUV. The investigation is discovering that Farouk had been radicalized, and they have already discovered a digital trail to ISIS websites and email communications with potential Muslim extremists. But officials do believe there is more to be found and discovered yet. Wife Malik, one of the two people accused of killing 14 at a holiday party in California, posted an online statement pledging allegiance to a leader of the Islamic State militant group, CNN reported on Friday, citing U.S. officials. Malik, a Pakistani native who had been living in Saudi Arabia when she married Farouk, posted an online statement of support for a leader of Islamic State on an account using a name other than her own. The attack in San Bernardino appeared to be inspired by, but not directed by, the militant group. Officials are also trying to determine where their next attack was going to be. This is critical to allow the potential target to prepare for a possible future attack. If there were other terrorists that they were working with, they need to be found, as they could carry out another attack themselves. Reports are coming out that the wife was the actual bomb maker. And in Senate votes yesterday, it was obvious the White House was using the Senate to try and deflect the attention away from the terrorist shootings by trying to focus on more gun control. Democratic presidential candidate Clinton came down right in line with the White House call for more gun control. A terrorist attack on U.S. soil is a terrible embarrassment for the Obama administration. Just 2 days before the attack, Obama was on TV citing that the government had terrorists under control in the United States. Some critical pundits are seriously wondering whether the president has any grasp as to what's going on around him. In an interview with Fox News, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani said, "The California massacre at the county complex was unquestionably an act of terror and any law enforcement official who thinks otherwise is a moron. This is premeditated, Giuliani said. If you can't come to a conclusion at this point that this act was an act of terror, you should find something else to do for a living other than being in law enforcement. I mean, you're a moron. This is an act of terror without any question, Giuliani said. The motivation is less clear whether the slayings were part of an ISIS plot, some other plot, homegrown jihadism, or just insanity. Officials doing the investigation firmly believe that there could be accomplices to this couple, especially as witnesses to the activities by the rented home they had to store and build bombs, report seeing a number of people coming and going out of the home immediately prior to the attack. And it's reported right now that there's an official designation that this is a terror attack by the government. In another Washington Senate story, the Senate Thursday approved on a largely party-line vote a budget bill that would repeal Obamacare and defund Planned Parenthood, the two top priorities of Republicans who control the chamber. Not to be outdone, Democrats seized the debate to try to force votes on gun control legislation that could put some Republicans in a politically tough position as the country is reeling from the recent spat of mass shootings. By voting to nullify Obamacare, the signature domestic accomplishment of the Obama administration, GOP congressional leaders fulfilled a long-time pledge to voters and rank-and-file members to get a repeal to President Barack Obama's desk, even though he will veto it. The bill would also cut off federal funding to Planned Parenthood, the women's health group that provides abortions and has long been under GOP scrutiny. Republicans' passions to cut off taxpayer dollars to the organization increased in recent months when videos were released that purport to show Planned Parenthood executives selling the tissue of aborted fetuses to researchers. Opponents argue the organization's use of the word tissue as a misleading word. Some have discovered that the word tissue is used as a general term that does include body parts such as organs by the organization. Planned Parenthood has not commented of that charge. Concerning the gun control amendments, Democrats brought up the Manchin-Toomey measure, a proposal from Senator Dianne Feinstein of California that would prevent people on the terror watch list from buying guns, and a third amendment to strengthen mental health and substance abuse treatment, and these all failed. Each was blocked from getting 60 votes to advance. However, it should be noted that Republicans offered alternatives to each, and they were blocked as well. So, there is more in the anti-gun measure than is being reported. We have been unable to find the actual wording of the amendments prior to bringing this news story. Yet, major news networks are only reporting on the Republicans' blocking of the mostly Democrat-sponsored amendments, and not providing what the Republicans offered in response. One opponent to the Democratic amendments said, "There needs to be time to read and understand the amendments brought for a vote. To approve amendments without understanding the consequences of the law is irresponsible." Now stay with us for more news from the White House when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. In an interesting White House appointment announcement, we get this. President Obama has appointed a foreign policy advisor known to be a friend of the terrorist group Hamas to be the administration's new czar in charge of countering ISIS. The appointee, Robert Malley, has a history of sympathizing with Islamists. According to the government watchdog group Judicial Watch, the White House downplayed the controversial appointment by burying it deep in a press briefing delivered at a Paris hotel during the recent climate summit. The president recently elevated Rob Malley to the National Security Council coordinator for the Middle East and North Africa, and he will now serve as the senior advisor to the president for the counter-ISIL campaign in Iraq and Syria. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest said during the briefing at the Marriott Hotel and Conference Center. Before moving on to the next topic, Earnest said the president has directed Malley to support our reinvigorated diplomatic track toward a political transition in Syria. In presidential campaign news, the latest CNN Republican presidential poll shows candidate Donald Trump has surged to 36% support, followed by Ted Cruz at 16%, Ben Carson at 14%, and Marco Rubio at 12%. All the rest have 5% or less. This seems to reflect positively for Trump, while some pundits continue to beat on Trump for making sometimes rather tough comments directed at other candidates and other people. Analysts still believe that Trump is building on the anger of a large portion of the population, the anger even the Washington establishment seems to underestimate. And many fingers are being pointed directly at the White House as causing that huge swell of anger. This morning, Trump was commenting on Obama. During his criticism of Obama's lack of anger over the San Bernardino attacks and his failing policy to fight terrorism around the world, Trump said, "There must be something going on there we don't know about." Immediately, pundits are jumping on the comment asking what he meant by that line. He has not commented further yet. News analysts are still saying that Cruz and Rubio may have some chance to be an alternative to Trump. However, they are also saying that these candidates will have to tap into the anger base Trump seems to be connecting with in order to gain ground on him. And Carson seems to be falling away after a couple of real bad weeks showing his lack of understanding on foreign policy issues. In positive news from China Lake, they supported a call from the San Bernardino officials calling for blood donations to help care for the wounded. Approximately 200 people attempted to donate O-positive and O-negative blood Wednesday, December 2nd, at the Houchin Blood Mobiles at the Branch Health Clinic on board the Naval Air Weapons Station, China Lake, yesterday afternoon after being notified this type of blood was needed due to the San Bernardino mass shooting. Since the turnout was so large, approximately 60 people had to be turned away, but the majority of them committed to donating during one of the two Houchin blood drives that will be held in Ridgecrest during the next couple of weeks. A total of 105 pints of blood was gathered. The next drive is scheduled for this Saturday at the Santa's Workshop. What an amazing display of support for the victims of the terrorist attack by the command and the employees that work at China Lake. Last Monday, we reported on an E. coli outbreak in about 7 states, including California. Here's an update as the threat spreads. An E. coli outbreak has led to food products being removed from store shelves in 18 states, affecting chains such as Walmart, Target, and Costco. Contaminated celery is believed to be the source of the scare. E. coli is a type of bacteria that can cause serious infections. The list of possibly infected items now includes more than 155,000 products. Among the products recalled were chicken salad, macaroni salad, and celery sticks from various companies. Products were recalled by the Food and Drug Administration in Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, North Dakota, Oregon, South Dakota, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming. At least 19 people in 7 states were infected with E. coli from consuming Costco rotisserie chicken salad, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Costco announced last month that it had removed the chicken salad from its stores and ceased its production. Starbucks has also removed potentially infected items from its various locations. Stores affected in the latest recall also include 7-Eleven, Raley's, King's Coopers, Save Mart, Albertsons, Walmart, and Sam's Club. And in some happy news, don't forget that this Saturday, the city will hold their annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony at City Hall. There will be singing and tours of trees inside the City Hall. There will also be hot chocolate and snacks served. As well, the event's star attraction will be the lighting of the huge tree in the circle in front of City Hall. All this starts at 5:30 and ends with the tree lighting at 6:30. The mayor has asked everyone to join us for a very happy event. Oh, and as a side note, there will be a Christmas parade again this year. It'll be held next Saturday, December 12th. Put this on your calendar. We'll have more details on this next week. Now, in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information you've asked for, here are today's gas prices for Ridgecrest and some surrounding areas. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $2.69 to $2.99, Lancaster from $2.69 to $2.99, the LA Valley area $2.57 to $2.79, and the Bishop area $2.71 to $2.99. We have 4 stations coming in at the $2.69 figure, so there's been no movement in the last few days. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay sales tax out of town, you're helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. And as requested by viewers, many are asking what the NRA does support on gun control and crime control. And the lack of answers from the mainstream media, KZGN will have a special report from the NRA on Monday. As media outlets declare war on the NRA for blocking control, we'll present their position on the matter during the news on Monday. So join us on Monday for this special report. Stay tuned for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Lane with the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, a series of storm systems will impact the Pacific Northwest this weekend into early next week, bringing a potential for heavy rainfall, very strong winds, and mountain snowfall. Meanwhile, heavy rainfall and potential flash flooding continue across South Florida into the first part of the weekend. Temperatures across the nation: Carolinas at 52, Georgia at 54, Arkansas at 51, Northern Texas at 55, Arizona at 68, and LA at 62. And for us locally, tonight mostly clear with a low around 33, south-southwest wind 5 miles per hour. Saturday, sunny with a high near 60, south-southwest wind 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 34, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 63, southeast wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday night, partly cloudy with a low around 34, east-northeast wind 5 miles per hour. Monday, mostly sunny with a high near 64, north-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Monday night, partly cloudy with a low around 36, north wind 5 miles per hour. And Tuesday, sunny with a high near 67, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. And now here's Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant early Friday evening to everyone. Let's start with some local sports. Tonight up at Saracoso College will be our annual boys basketball tournament. All the local junior high schools and some from the regional areas are participating. It starts this afternoon at 4 o'clock. It goes on all day tomorrow, Saturday. Will last till about 8 o'clock tonight also. Come on out, enjoy some good barbecue. We have hamburgers, hot dogs, $2 hamburgers, $1 hot dogs, all kinds of goodies at the snack bar, and some great junior high basketball. Next weekend, it'll be the girls' turn. It'll be the girls' tournament at Saracoso. That'll be a Thursday, Saturday. Thursday the 10th, Saturday the 12th. So boys this weekend, girls next weekend. Come on out, enjoy some good basketball. A lot of people gather in there. It's a good fundraiser for the college also. The community really enjoys the basketball participation. NBA, talk about the big guys that play basketball. Miami a winner last night. Denver wins. San Antonio wins. Portland wins again. They're playing well. Boston wins, and so does Orlando. Orlando now has won 3 straight games. College football this weekend. Who's going to be in the top 4? This weekend will give us a few of them. USC and Stanford. Stanford's still in the bubble for a top 4. USC, a big win over UCLA last weekend. If USC can win this game, they will be in the Rose Bowl. Now, Stanford has an outside chance of being in the top 4 in that playoff they're going to have on New Year's Eve. Again, in New Year's Eve, the top 4 teams play, then 2 weeks later, the national championship. Florida and Alabama. If Alabama wins, they're going to be in that top 4. Florida had a chance. They dropped a tough game last week. I mean, they didn't really show up. They lost to Florida State. They could only muster up a safety. Clemson and North Carolina. Right now, Clemson ranked number 1. They're 12-0. If Clemson wins, they're in for sure. North Carolina only lost 1 game. They're sitting at number 8. If North Carolina can win tomorrow, they have a chance in the top 4. And Michigan State and Iowa. Iowa undefeated. Last time that happened, Herbert Hoover was probably president. It's been a long time since the Hawkeyes have gone this late. They are 12-0 right now. If they win the Big Ten, and more than likely they'll be one of those top 4 teams you get to watch on New Year's Eve. College basketball last night. UCLA upset number 1 Kentucky. They got a little revenge. They were blown out by that same team 2 weeks ago over in Hawaii. All right, NFL. Can't forget about the NFL. When I came in, our engineer producer, Joey, was just raving about the great Hail Mary pass that Aaron Rodgers threw last night in the end zone. The Packers, who had lost the last 3 or 4 games, it took a Hail Mary, but they beat the hapless Lions, who actually, the Lions, I shouldn't call them hapless. They lost their first 7 games of the year, but they're on a 2-game winning streak, or at least they were. Lions blew a 17-0 halftime lead against Green Bay last night. That's a big win for Green Bay. That keeps them in contention to win the division. The Vikings this weekend, play the Seahawks. That's going to be a huge game. The Seahawks fighting for their playoff life. Also some big games. The Texans, who've come out of nowhere, they are tied in the Central with the Colts for first place. They're now back around 500. They got off to a horrid start. They're going to play the Bills in Buffalo. The Raiders and Chiefs, what a traditional matchup that is. A huge game for the Chiefs. They need to win that. The Chargers, fighting for their lives, will take on the Broncos. The Broncos won last Sunday night in the snow. The Eagles and Patriots. The Eagles, boy, what a reeling season they've had. Patriots are already in the playoffs. Only one loss. That was to Green Bay in the snow. And the Colts and Steelers. Steelers fighting for their playoff lives. So some great football this weekend. Some good junior high basketball. Come on out. Support your local teams. That's your sports for this Friday early evening. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. All of us at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay with us for Ridgecrest Talk coming up next.